Well, now here with me are 8 steps on how you can be able to start a profitable business 2024. Probably this is one of the dreams that you're having, or should I call it a goal that you're having for the year 2024. You say, hey, guess what? This year 2024, I must start a business. And perhaps you actually running out of the ideas of exactly what can you be able to do so that you can actualize the business. This is the video for you. Watch it to the end because guess what? This is the video. Now, guess what? I usually post a video each and every day talking about investment, making money, financial management, and anything related to cash. All right. So if you don't want to miss any of my good videos, make sure that you hit that subscription button. There's like a small button written subscribe. It is in black. Hit that magical button, like the video. By the way, it doesn't cost you anything. And also comment down below. Let's go to the next point, okay? Now, the point number one that you're supposed to understand before starting any given business out there, all right, is understanding your what? Your potential. Understand what we call the achievable potential. You know what? There are these people just having goals that are not realistic. You might be thinking of starting a 10 million kind of a business and maybe your income is 10,000. I am not saying it is not possible, but what you're doing, you're gonna actually gonna throw yourself down the floor without even achieving that specific goal within a stipulated period of time. So it's always good to understand what is my potential. I earn this next amount of money at the end of the month. Therefore, I'm looking forward into starting this kind of a business. Therefore, is it achievable based on what I'm able to save at the end of the month? And remember this, never forget it. To start a business, you need a capital. And that capital is usually gotten from different ways. And one of the major ways is where you are employed right now, if you're employed. And if you employ that amount of money that you get each and every month, you should call it the income. Now, what happens is the income and the expenses, because you need to survive, you need to eat, you need to do all those things, okay? So you get your income and your expenses. You subtract the two. Once you subtract the difference, and I pray it's a positive cash flow. Now, that positive cash flow, you can accumulate it. You store it, all right, until you reach to a certain point. Now, that money is no longer called a money or savings. It's called a capital to start the business. Now, the point number one is to understand your achievable potential. Tick, if you do that, tick, you're done. Now, let's go to the point number two. Identify the business that you want. Fine, now you're done, okay? You now understand, guess what? I can be able to start a business worth 100K. I can be able to start a business worth 1 million, 2, 3, 4, 10, whichever the amount of money, all right? Now, I can be able to start a business worth 20,000. You have identified your potential. Now, you go to what we call the business that you want, all right? You'll be guided by two things. First, you'll be guided the amount of money that you can potentially raise. Two, you'll be guided by, obviously, what you want. But again, do not violate what you can be able to start with what you want. Again, do not as well violate what you want with what you can be able to. It's good to make sure that you consider those two aspects, okay? Identify the business that you want. After identifying that business that you want, and of course, justify why you want that business. Maybe because of the location where you want to start the business, you have seen a gap that you can be able to fill. You have actually seen such a business doing good somewhere, or maybe the business that is in existence is not fulfilling all the customer needs and all those kind of things. Do not just dream and wake up in the morning and say, hey, I'm going to start a boutique business. I'm going to start a cosmetics. I'm going to start a pharmacy. Ask yourself, what gaps are you trying to fill, or what actually problem are you trying to solve in that locality where you want to start that business? So after identifying the business that you want to start, now what do you do next? Next thing is that what is its costs? Its cost is 200,000. Its cost is 1 million. Okay. Now, after identifying what it is, its cost, guess what? Now, you ask yourself now this point D, how much will you have, or how much do you have, will have, or you need to be saving for you to achieve that amount of money? You've realized that the business that you want, it costs you 100,000. Now you ask yourself, I'm able to save 10K at the end of the month. Therefore, it means if I was to stay on the lane, be consistent and disciplined, I need 10 clean months to be able to actualize that business. Or I already have the cash. I have it in my bank. So you just know, hey, guess what? I need to go to my bank, withdraw my 100,000 and be able to start it. And again, you need to ask yourself before you even go and withdraw that amount of money. Is it the dear money that you have? Is it the money that you have you do not have any other cash? It is the only money that you have out there. Therefore, in terms of the risk appetite and also how you manage this thing ought to be cared or ought to be taken care of. All right. So after identifying what is its cost and calculate how long it will take you to actually accumulate that amount of money, at what period and then at what rate. Therefore, you'll be able to actually tick the 4 dashes. All right. Well, after you've ticked the 4th point, which is how much you need or how much you have or how much you need to spend, therefore, you go to the next one. The next one is that consider the duration of saving if applicable. If maybe you do not have the money ready with you, consider how long you need to save. That one I have already dealt with it. Number 5, or number 6 rather, have a business plan, execution procedure. This is quite a point whereby I need to spend a little bit of time to explain to you. It is good, it is essential, it is necessary, it's a must to have a business plan. You know why? It is good to understand, hey, I have 100,000. I want to start, say, a cosmetic business. Okay, you need to do the shelving, you need to do the counter, you probably need to do the painting, you need to do what we call the lighting for the purposes of making your business conspicuous out there. You also need to set a certain amount for the purposes of advertisement. All right, so it's always good to make sure there is a breakdown of the cost of each and every section when you're exiting that business. Also good to understand how much you'd be dedicated towards paying licenses or permits. Okay, so once you have a business plan, and also what we call the profit expectations or the target profits and all those kind of things. Okay, and when it comes to the profit, I always love to put this point across. Make sure that your profit is actually divided into 3 tiers. The first tier, the second, and the third. The first tier is actually the expected profit, the profit that you're aiming. You're starting this business aiming at getting 10,000 at the end of the month. All right. Second tier, hey, guess what if that doesn't happen? You don't get the 10K. What if maybe you get like 6K? All right, so it's that below tier, that's a mid tier. The lower tier, maybe say, hey, 10 doesn't happen, 6 doesn't happen, maybe you get 4. All right, or 3. Now you ask yourself, what if the days were to be getting like, or what if you were to get like the lowest tier in terms of the profit? Will the business actually be able to exist? Will you be able to pay the operational cost? Will you at least get something in your pocket? And if the question is yes, then that's a business worth starting. That's for a fact, right? So those are the factors that you're supposed to understand. So when it comes to the business plan, you have to make sure that at least you put down all the points. What are the things that you need to do? What are the skills that you need to possess for you to run that business? What are the customer services you need to be referring to? You must have good customer service, the after sale, the before sales, ability to sell, what we call the exemption of products or the services that you're selling, outstanding charisma, and all those kind of things. And of course, what we call who are the suppliers, who are the distributors, and how consistently can they supply to you. All right, and by the way, do they offer the best prices? All right, so that at least, and who are your competitors, and what do they do, how much do they sell, how much probably do they make in a profit in a day, how many customers visit them, what are their strongholds, what are their weaknesses, what are they good at. So once you understand all these areas, you're able to do something. And again, who are my target customers, and how many are they? All right, what are the traffic in my area? All right, what is the security of this specific locality? All right, what if something arises, how can I solve it? What if an emergency arises? Do you insure your business? And all those kind of, all this information is to be captured in a business plan, so that you don't just get into a business just anyhow. You want to start the business, you have the cash and you have the location, boom, you start the business, and then you are facing new challenges each and every day, and you do not know how to do them, all right, or handle them. So it's always good to make sure that you elucidate all the point somewhere, and list all the points, and then explain every point, so that at least you can be able to picking each and every one whenever it arises. All right, that is exactly the most important point as far as the business plan is concerned. All right, and by the way, talking of a business plan, perhaps you're a bit confused and you do not know how to write a business plan. I am here, I offer those services. You can always pick my number from the description of this specific video, shoot me a call, or you can text me on my email. There is an email out there. You tell me, hey Joseph, would like to start this business, I would like you to prepare for me a business plan, or maybe if I have any, because I do have a variety of business plans ready for me. Just tell me what business you want. I have the ready ones, okay, and I have the ones that I can actually prepare for you. Depends on how you want it. We call it a customized business plan, right? Don't forget to do that. All right, and by the way, did you manage to locate that specific subscription button? Yeah, absolutely, just hit it down there, and also make sure that you like the video. All right, let's go to the next point. Now, after writing the business plan, now you go to separate the business account, the personal account. This is another big mistake that people do. Remember, we are doing what? To start a profitable business. And how can you do that? Is be able to have a separate accounts as far as the business is concerned and personal expenses is concerned. First thing that you're supposed to do is to pay yourself. pay yourself. Why am I saying so? Because paying yourself, that what you pay yourself with is what actually meets your day-to-day activities. That's what meets your expenses. Don't just go to the counter, pick money and start, doing your things out there. No, you're supposed to be paying yourself. And I always ask people this question: what if you were to replace you with another individual? So how much will you pay you? So if you can be able to answer that question, then you can know how much you can be able to pay yourself. Depends on what you do, the time you engage on that business and all those kind of things, and how much can you actually pay yourself. So if you can be able to answer that question, then it becomes a bit easier for you to go ahead and start an investment, or rather a business out there. So have those separate accounts. And I'm going to give you a very simple example. There was a client who called me, and he has this type of a business. He has a farm where he's rearing pigs and he's rearing goats and what have you, and just say a farm, okay? And he has what we call, a place whereby he's doing the, the grilling, the meat vending and all those kind of things. Now, these are two different entities. Now, this customer or this client of mine was having a very technical time to actually understand where the money is going, because he was having one account for the two businesses. Because these are two, remember, there are some people who are at home taking care of the animals and what have you, and there is another people who are in this business where he's doing the grilling and vending meat and what have you. This individual is actually having two separate workers. Now, having all money in one basket, it can actually confuse you. No, he was thinking like, just because it's my goat or it's my pig and maybe get it from there and sell it from here, it just, you see, when you actually mix up all those numbers, you never know which business is actually making profit, which is not making profit. We sat down, and I'm telling you, we took close to 5 hours trying to educate this individual, telling him, hey, guess what? Have separate accounts. Treat these two entities as two different entities, so that at least you cannot do what we call the mix-up, because that will actually bring you to a confusion. And after doing that, the guy is now realizing a profit into the business. And that is what you're supposed to do. If you have multiple businesses, try to treat each and every business independently, so that at least you'll be able to monitor how much is it making. All right, so that at least you do not have like 10 branches of the businesses and only 4 of them are making profit. The 6 of them are actually draining the 4, and you cannot be able to realize that because you're making an exemption of profit on the 4 of them, to a point whereby it's actually covering the others. Okay, maybe 3 of them are not worth even having them in the first place. So it's always good to make sure that you treat each and every business independently, so that at least you can be able to understand, in case now you want to start a multiple streams of businesses that are out there. All right, let's go to the last point. Look for possibility of scaling up your business. The good thing that you can be able to do, or the best thing that you can be able to do in your business, is to scale it down, because scaling your business down is actually making sure that at least you increase your income. You actually, we say you do what, you spread your tentacles in terms of how much you can be able to make. That is the most essential thing that you can ever do. So make sure that you look for ways on how you can scale down your business, so that you progress to the next level. Guess what, guys? That marks the end of my video, but not the end of me posting a video each and every time. All right, so that's why I always tell you and remind you, make sure that you subscribe to this channel, become a member. And again, don't forget one thing: this is a place to be if things to do with money and investment is a cup of your coffee. And I doubt whose not cup of coffee is it. I mean, seriously, this is 2024. Let's make a difference as we progress to the next level. For now, it's a goodbye, and see you in the next one.